Hi there, I'm Michelle.
I'm Jim, and we are
A Tea of Your Own. Welcome to another Motivational Monday.
Let's get motivated.
Woo! It's Memorial Day.
It is.
And we need people to remember why it's Memorial Day.
Because we're remembering all the people who gave their lives to defend our country?
Correct.
Okay, just checking.
Yes. Memorial Day, very different from Armed Forces Day, which we just celebrated not too long ago. Also very different from Veterans Day.
Yep. For Veterans Day, it's celebrating the people who served and are still with us or didn't die in a conflict or people like me.
Yeah. So keep that in mind. Today is the day that you remember, and I do encourage all of you to take time and reflect on those men and women who gave their lives so that you would be able to enjoy the freedoms that you have today. Yes. Makes sense?
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Good deal. All right. So yes, Memorial Day. Busy weekend for a lot of people. Anybody out there have a Blackstone griddle? If you do, please let us know what your favorite foods are. Jim got an early Father's Day present, and we now have a Blackstone in our back deck, and I can't wait until he starts cooking.
Okay.
So I want to know what everybody else makes on them so I can give you ideas.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. All right, so we have been talking about different topics that we actually speak on. We covered delegation. We covered the influence one, the small changes for big results. This week, we're going to talk a little bit about a concept you developed last year, and it's the power of partnership. We kind of fleshed out a little bit of what that could look like. And for those of you who either didn't see it or you haven't gone back to take a look, what Jim's talking about is basically the next level to teamwork.
Right.
Correct. So talk a little bit about what this power of partnership really is.
Oh, it's the idea that it's like you said, it's taking teamwork to the next level. You see a lot of companies, the people that work in the company, they're employees. Well, being an employee isn't really very motivating. It clearly implies for most people that you're somebody who works for the company, but as an employee, you may not necessarily be invested in the organization. Most people who are employees, I'm not saying most, but a lot of people who are employees, they view it as I show up, I do my job, I get a paycheck, I go home. And basically they're there to get a paycheck. Yeah. That's really their only true motivation. So they don't feel an obligation to the organization. And you can really see this when you look at organizations where they have very high turnover.
Yeah.
It's a case of either they specifically, state that the people who work in their organization are employees, or they treat them like employees. We've heard this from some business owners when it comes to training. They say, why should I invest in these people when they're just going to leave? It's like, well, that right there is why they leave.
Yes.
You have the wrong attitude about them to begin with. The next level, and we see this a lot, is associate. That's an attempt to make people feel that they're more than just employees, but it doesn't really work very well in most organizations. The people realize it's just a title. They're treated as if they're still just employees. The next level beyond that is partnership. With partnership, you get people to truly buy into what you're doing, to buy in the organization because they are part of the organization. That's why it's partnership. Now, the ultimate level of partnership is like us, where, I mean, I guess it could be if you're related, but then next would be married.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because we're partners on many different levels.
Yeah.
But, but you don't want that in your organizations because
No.
that'd be really weird
Yeah.
for everybody in the organization to be married
Yeah.
to each other. I don't think that's even legal.
No.
But it's a case of when you make people partners in what you're doing, you treat them like they are a part of the organization.
Yeah, we're not talking about the legal definition
No,
of
no,
partnership.
no,
We're not
no.
saying that you're going to have a contract with
Right.
them, and no, that's not what we're talking
It's
about.
the concept that you are a partner in what we're doing.
Mhm,
You are invested because they are invested.
mhm.
You know, the reality is they're invested in the ongoing success of the organization for their own livelihood.
Yeah.
But again, employees, they just look at it as I'm getting a paycheck. You know, it's always interesting to me when I will see employees, and usually it's funny thing is, you know, sometimes they'll say it right out in front of customers when something's going on and there's a mistake that was made, something's happened that's, you know, going to cost the company a little bit of money. And you'll hear them say, well, that's okay. Company's got more money it knows what to do with anyway. Like, wow, that is the wrong approach. That is the wrong approach.
I've never met a company that had more money than
Then
it knew what to do with.
Yeah.
Never.
They can always find other things to do with it to grow and expand.
Yes.
But you know, that's the idea behind partnership, and it starts with the leaders in the organization recognizing everybody else, all the people who work in the
Mhm.
organization, as partners in what they are doing. It doesn't start with the people, as we call them, the employees,
Yeah.
the associates. It doesn't start with them. It starts with the leadership. So that's what's interesting about this idea is in most organizations, the leadership is waiting for the people who work in the organization that are not part of leadership to come around to the idea. Oh, yes, we belong to this. It's not going to happen.
No.
In most organizations, it's just not going to happen. It's leadership who has to make that determination of how much they're going to value these people
Mhm.
and how they're going to treat them, again, as partners in the organization. That means you got to pay attention to their ideas.
Mhm.
You have to bring them into the decision-making processes as much as possible.
Mhm.
You have to make them a part of what you are doing, as opposed to just giving them orders saying, this is what we're doing. You know, it's interesting because with Walmart right now, all of the Walmarts are changing their remodeling.
Well,
It's driving people crazy.
all of them here in our area.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that's the case.
It may not be across the entire country,
No.
but I think it is.
I know.
Because when I was down in Georgia, they're changing it down
Oh.
there. They're changing it up here. They're changing it every place in
It's
between, from what I can
insane.
tell. And when you hear the associates speaking about what's going on, you can tell they had zero input into this.
None.
At least it appears they did. Because you know, you can hear them talking to customers and telling customers, "We're just as confused as you are."
Yes.
Well, that's not good.
No, my least favorite move that they've done so far. I understand moving, like on the grocery side of it
Mhm.
all. If you go to a super Walmart, you know exactly what I'm talking about because none of the food's where it's supposed to be.
Right.
Okay, I understand that because they're adding more shelves and aisleways, and so there's going to be shifts and stuff like that there. Fine. The biggest change that they've had is how checkout is at
Yeah.
this point. Because what they've decided to do, instead of just making them all open and you can just walk up to any and every cash register that's open and just check out, they've set up two lines, one on the right side, one on the left side,
Right.
and they're
But each
set
one
up.
is a single flow queue. And the problem is they not only flow to the registers where you have people there to check people
And they
out.
still do have employees
Right.
or
They still got
associates
employees,
there
associates
to
at the
check you out,
registers, yes.
which is good.
But they're also have the single flow, and it's a part of that to the self checkout.
Yeah.
So now you got people standing in line that they can see their self checkout
That are open.
but there's people in front of them in the line that I guess are going to go. They don't know. They don't know if they're going to go to self checkout or if they're going to go to the register to have an associate check them out. And yes, we're watching it, and it is very confusing.
It does not get self checkout people out of there faster.
No.
Because I've had to wait over 10 minutes when there were self checkouts available till I got to the front of the line, and they say, "Oh yeah, go down there. It's open."
Right. But
Yeah.
they've got associates standing there. They're forced to have associates standing there
Yes.
directing traffic. And you can tell that's not what they're supposed to be doing.
No.
But there they are. It's taking them away from running a register. It's taking them away from doing something else. And it's because it's just confusing. Now, it may get better later when people start to figure out what's going on, but I'm not so sure.
Now, I think basically what they need to do is 3 lines. They need to have on either end for the self checkout if you
and
want to
one
have
for the-
lines there,
yep.
and then one in the middle for the people that you're going up to the register and you're going to let them.
I would
check it out.
agree, but they pretty much had the one line on each end for the self checkout to
They
begin
did.
with.
They already had that.
That's why it's so strange they've done what they've done.
So,
But yeah, and you can tell with these the people
Yeah.
working there,
but the
they know they had zero input into
And
it,
that's-
and they're not even sure about the details of
no,
it.
and that's the sad part
Yeah.
is Walmart's not going to listen. They're certainly not going to listen to their customers.
No,
And they're also not going to listen to the people who are working there.
right.
And so they're not partnering with they're not partnering with the people that they employ. They're not partnering with the people who come and give them money. It's not good.
Yeah, yeah. It seriously looks like a major case of not bothering to ask and include input. Now they may have from other associates. We don't know, but we're looking at this and going, "This is what they came up with." Wow. Because, like I said, we know that they're moving stuff around all over the place in the stores, and customers are just massively
it's awful.
confused. It is taking people so long to get in and shop and get out because they're having to go hunt for. They knew where stuff was before. They're having to go hunt because they're really
there anymore.
moving it around.
And the other thing is, I understand because Giant Eagle will do this. Giant Eagle, Shop and Save, they will move stuff on purpose so that way you'll spend longer time in there looking for stuff and buy stuff that you didn't know.
But that's grocery stores in general.
That's where, yes. Walmart, on the other hand, that's not the case.
Right.
The whole reason why they're doing this is because they're reorganizing everything and supposed to be making this a better shopping experience for everyone. People are getting upset and frustrated
Yes,
and
they
leaving.
are. Yes, they are.
And they're not spending their money there.
Yeah.
And so this whole concept of the power of partnership is to bring people together and talk about what can we do to make improvements?
Mhm.
How can we be more efficient? How can we be more effective? What can we do that will be beneficial, not only for the organization itself, but for the people who are a part of this organization, including our customers.
Right. And the broader definition of partnership doesn't just include the people who work for the organization. It includes your customers.
Yeah.
It includes your suppliers.
Yeah.
It includes any constituency, anybody that has contact with your organization, that you want to partner with them as much as possible.
Yeah. So the vendors that you have, like for example, for grocery stores, they will have vendors who will come in and who will stock a specific area.
Mhm.
When Shop and Save here in Mount Pleasant redid their store to bring in wine and beer sales, they ended up getting a chunk of their store that used to have all the bread and potato chips and where the Gibbles were all moved. And usually it's the baking companies and the chip makers and
Mhm.
stuff like that. They will stock their own sections. And when they did that, they had to move them. And I don't think they necessarily asked them if they were happy about this. But yeah.
Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
But the power in partnership, it derives from the fact that you now have everybody invested in what you're doing and the success of the organization. And that's really what you want.
Yeah.
You know, to me, I think it's tragic when you see these companies, see these organizations where they have employees and the employees just really don't care. It's especially critical in this environment where, at least up to now, it's starting to change. I've been predicting this was going to change. I feel like it's one of those things where I predicted it way too early, apparently, that eventually we're going to see a turning point where the number of jobs that were available, especially, you know, good paying jobs, was going to start to dwindle. And we're there now. So it's not quite what we had over the last few years where somebody go to work for a company, and if they decide they don't like it, they just quit, go down the road and go to work for somebody else, sometimes making more money. That's starting to dry up a little bit. So you've got less of that, but you still have a lot of it where these people will go to work for a company and they'll decide, you know, after a few months, I don't like this place. And they'll just quit and go someplace else. Whereas if the organization, leadership in the organization would have taken the time, invested in them, and again, treated them like a partner in what they were doing, they might stay.
Yeah.
Better for the company, better for the workers too.
It is.
Because when you stay with an organization for a longer period of time, you get a chance to really build up the value that's available to you. Yeah. And some people don't understand that. Every time you move, it's like starting over again.
Yep. Power partnership, that is one of the topics that we speak on. If you're interested in learning more about this, if you're interested in having us come in and speak to your organization, or come in and speak at a conference, or come and speak at, oh my goodness, at any place about this particular concept, let us know. Reach out to us. We're more than happy to talk about this, because this is a fun topic.
It is a fun topic. And it's really a mindset topic.
It is.
How can you change the mindset of leadership to employ this idea of the power of partnership?
Yep. And it's also a mindset when it comes to the people that you want to partner with.
Yes.
Because getting them to realize leadership really does care, what I think.
Right.
And getting them to realize leadership does really care about my suggestions and my ideas.
But again, that's getting the leadership to change their mindset. Yeah. It needs to be their shift, not everybody else's.
Yeah, because think about how much more powerful your organization could be if everybody was working together.
Yes.
Because that's really where the power of partnership comes in, is people coming together, doing what's best for everyone. And as a result of that, you see growth, you see increased productivity, you see profits going up. I mean, you just see everything coming together, and there are lots of improvements.
Right. And it pulls together elements of other things that we talk about, such as, you know, influence and communication, which are both critical if you are going to really develop this idea of the power of partnership.
So if you're interested in having us come in and speak on this topic, or any of the topics, like I said, we talk about, we've already told you about influence, we talked about delegation, talked about the power of partnership. We're going to be talking about overcoming obstacles and your muddy adventure. I think we're going to do that next week. And turning 21 again, which is one of my favorite topics. But if you are interested in any of these topics, how could they contact us?
Well, you can give us a call.
They could give us a call.
Numbers 412-420-7975.
Right here.
If you don't want to call us and talk to us on the phone, you can send us a text message. We respond to those.
Yes, we do.
You can go to our website, atigueofyourown.com.
Or better yet, why don't they just email us?
You can send us an email, info@atigueofyourown.com.
info@atigueofyourown.com.
You can check us out on our social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and we have a YouTube channel.
Mhm.
And if you would go there and subscribe, we would be most appreciative.
We would.
And then like us on all these other platforms.
Yeah.
We would love that too.
And then here's the website, atofyourown.com. If you go there, there'll be links to all these, plus the phone numbers on there, the emails on there. So just go to that one spot and you'll be able to
There it
reach out
is.
to us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day. Like we said, remember why this holiday is here. Take time to reflect and to be thankful for the people who have indeed given you the opportunity to be able to celebrate today and to have the freedoms that you do have. We will see you next week.
All right.
Like I said, I think we're going to talk about your muddy adventures
Okay.
and overcoming actual obstacles.
Okay.
Make sense?
I guess.
I think so. All right. All right, everybody. We will talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.